Alrighty, radio check, radio check. Well, you guys should be able to hear me. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm sorry I am a couple of minutes late. Um, yeah, here we go then. We have got the Azerbaijan Grand Prix starting very soon. In fact, 13 minutes till free practice 1 begins. The risk of rain is 0% in today's Grand Prix. Very sunny out there in Baku. Quite a lot of news over the past week. We've got, firstly, Kevin Magnussen. He has got a race ban after getting into a collision at the Monza Grand Prix. He got 2 extra penalty points added to his license and ended up with a race ban. The first driver out of the, I think in the first, there's been 8 years since the penalty point system has been introduced, and Kevin Magnussen is the first driver to get a race ban from the penalty point system. We're going to have Oliver Behrman replacing him this weekend. So Ollie Behrman has taken part at the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, one of the hardest circuits on the calendar, and then once again he is here at Baku, which is another one of the hardest circuits on the calendar. So a very tough job there for Ollie Behrman, but I'm sure he'll do all right. The McLarens are floating off the track. Indeed, they are. I'm sure the data will sort that out, and it will get reset in time for the start of the session. All right, we've got 130 people tuned in. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Folks, if you are not subscribed, then be sure to do so. I think this weekend might be the one where we hit 100k. So yeah, if you guys aren't subscribed, then it would be fantastic if you could do that. Yeah, there have been a couple of other things. Well, actually, the main talk of the paddock has been what are McLaren going to do and what are they going to do about their papaya rules. Is Lando Norris going to be prioritised ahead of Oscar Piastri? It is a very complicated situation. I think Piastri has said that if the team asks him to do so, then he will help Norris out. But I think there are also some contractual things that they are not allowed to say. I think maybe Piastri has in his contract that if he is in first position, and if he's going on to win the race, then he will not lose position to Lando. So there are quite a few complicated things that the McLaren are having to deal with. So we'll see how they deal with that. I don't know. Yeah, it's going to be very tough. So for folks in the chat, do let me know what you think is going to happen between the two McLarens, Arnav and Rachana and CCQ, and Dr. NX Lin. Best of luck for Max for the weekend. Yeah, well, Max is going to have a very tough job to do. Red Bull have brought an upgrade package this weekend. It's been quite a big upgrade package. They're planning to sort of fix all of their issues, essentially, and it's apparently a radical upgrade package, and that's what it's been dubbed as by the Red Bull team itself. It's a sort of a radical thing that they're trying out to hopefully fix all of their issues with the floor. Mercedes have had some issues as well. They've gone back an upgrade. They were having some issues with their floor, and they've reverted back to an older spec of the floor. So hopefully those issues go away, but only time will tell. Yeah. Alright, what do you think about Newey to Aston? Well, I think for Aston Martin it's fantastic, isn't it? I think wherever Adrian Newey went would have been fantastic for that team. So the fact that Aston Martin have managed to sign him, Aston Martin are also getting a new wind tunnel coming online next year, and then also having that combined with Adrian Newey, I think it's a recipe for a couple of championships coming for Aston Martin. Who knows what will happen in reality, but for now it's looking like Adrian Newey is going to design a fantastic car for Aston Martin. His contract actually only starts on the 3rd of March 2025, so he has got quite a while till he actually starts working with the Aston Martin team. I don't think he will be affecting Aston Martin's upgrade packages this year or next year. I think as soon as he starts working for Aston Martin, he'll start designing the 2026 car. And yeah, so that is... And the thing is that Adrian Newey is coming into the team. He will be given complete freedom with these sort of upgrade packages that Aston Martin will bring to the team. Total freedom on what to do. The team will basically listen to what he has to say and what he thinks is the best. So let's see. All right, can Red Bull's downfall be attributed to Newey leaving them? Yeah, they said Red Bull's technical staff was good enough to replace him, but apparently it all crumbled when he left. Yeah, it's I don't know. It was pretty difficult for Red Bull after Adrian Newey. He's left, and their upgrade packages have really suffered since then. They haven't been working out as well as they would have hoped. So yeah, I don't know. I guess it partially can be attributed to Adrian Newey, but I think there's also other issues within the Red Bull team. I heard that Adrian Newey at his when he was told Red Bull that he was going to leave the team, during the sort of end of his time at Red Bull, his job would have been to train up a couple of the younger staff to take his position. And when he was training up all of this staff, those technical engineers and whatnot, they weren't particularly listening to Adrian Newey's advice. Apparently, they weren't respecting his opinion and listening to what he had to say, and they were just kind of doing their own thing, which also could attribute to the fact, which could also contribute to Red Bull's downfall. So there were quite a few different things that have all combined. I think Red Bull maybe have led themselves down into like a dead end in terms of their upgrade packages. Maybe their car was really easy to design at the start, but then to extract more and more performance out of it, it becomes harder and harder, and you need more and more difficult and intricate and tricky upgrade packages. So yeah, I'm not exactly sure what's going down at Red Bull, but maybe this upgrade package just helps, maybe it doesn't. Only time will tell. Alright, good morning from America, 5 a.m, taking my sip of coffee. Yeah, pretty early in America, well, depending on where you are in America, but yeah, well, good to have you here. How many DRS zones? Only 2 DRS zones on this circuit, one going down the main straight and one going down on the exit of turn number 2 towards turn number 3. The one on the main straight has been extended by 100 meters. Previously, after turn number 20, you would have to wait 447 meters before you could activate DRS. Now, after turn number 20, you only have to wait 347 meters. So they've extended the DRS zone by 100 meters, which should aid overtaking. Last year, they did end up shortening quite a lot of these DRS zones, but the drivers did complain that overtaking was far too difficult, and they wouldn't get enough of a tow or a slipstream to have a chance to overtake. Last weekend out in Monza, they in fact increased the length of the DRS zones at Monza, and that definitely benefited overtaking and made things a lot easier for drivers to get overtakes done. So yeah, an extended DRS zone should be great. All right. Oh, I've just got an advert. Yeah. Whoops. There we go. That should be paused now. You guys should not be getting any more adverts. All right. Here we go then. Folks, if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. We're 5 minutes away from the start of Free Practice 1. The drivers will be making their way out. We've got the softest tyres of Pirelli's range this weekend, but given that it is 44 degrees track temperature, it's going to be quite tough on those soft tyres to complete an entire lap without overheating. It's going to be very tricky, especially through the middle sector. You get a lot of overheating, and the drivers towards the final couple of corners, the rear starts stepping out. But we'll keep an eye out on that. The drivers have got 3 hours of practice to get that all under control before we get underway for qualifying tomorrow. All right. Hey, how are you? I'm hyped for the weekend. Indeed, I'm doing pretty good myself. And this weekend is going to be very, very exciting. Of course, Baku, we've had great races here, loads of overtaking, and it's of course a street circuit, so chances of crashes and chaos is a lot more likely. We haven't had a safety car, I think, in the previous 8 races or so, and I think Baku might be the one to break that streak, and we get another safety car. So we'll see. Opinion on Colapinto. Colapinto has, he's had a fantastic first race. He has managed to, I think he was only a couple of seconds off the back of Albon. Admittedly, they did do different strategies last weekend, but Albon and Colapinto were within, I think, 10 or 15 seconds of each other. And given that it was Colapinto's first race in Formula 1, he's done a fantastic job. He hasn't gone and crashed the car. He did have one off-track, probably 2 actually. He went onto the gravel in free practice and then went on to Parabolica, and then I think on the exit of Lesmo 2 in qualifying, also went onto the gravel, but apart from that, he's been incident-free. But the thing is, Monza, of course, you do have a lot of runoff, a lot of areas to make mistakes. Baku, not so much. Very, very narrow. The walls are right there on the edge of the circuit, so we'll see how Colapinto deals with that. But the motto of what Williams will be doing, they'll slowly be building him up. So at the start of free practice 1, they'll just send him out to do some long runs, get a feel for the car, attack maybe 90%, like no need to push all the way to the limit. And then slowly they'll put him onto a set of soft tyres for, 1 or 2 hot laps. But they'll be on high fuel loads, so he won't have as agile or as quick of a car. And then slowly they'll lower down the fuel load till he gets a quick and responsive qualifying car. But here we are at the Azerbaijan Street Circuit, 20 corners. One of the longest, or not actually one of the longest. We've got one of the longest straights, I would say, on the Formula 1 nearly 2 kilometers from the exit of turn number 16 till turn number 1. The drivers are basically flat out for the entirety off the exit of turn number 16. So yeah, a nearly 2 kilometer long flat out section at this circuit. We are at round number 17 of 24 this Formula 1 season, so we are getting towards the end of the season now, 2/3 of the way through. And we've got the final third left, and Lando Norris is chasing now Max Verstappen for that Drivers' Championship. We've got McLaren. Most likely they probably will overtake Red Bull this weekend for the World Constructors' Championship. And Ferrari will be making their way up as well. Their upgrade package at Monza worked absolutely fantastically. And I have a feeling, because Monza is a very high-speed circuit and so is Baku, the upgrades are going to work quite well here as well. And Ferrari will be in the hunt for potentially podiums, potentially race wins. So let's wait and see. Hello, what can we expect what can we expect from Behrman? Well, Behrman will be doing the same thing as Colapinto. They're slowly building up to, going full speed. Behrman did a great job in Saudi Arabia, which was another street circuit. He only had 1 practice session that weekend, but still I think he managed to qualify in 8th position or qualify in 11th position and finish the race in 8th position, something along those lines. So yeah, Behrman will be looking to repeat the same as what he did in Saudi Arabia. This weekend, though, he will have 3 full practice sessions, and he's also had some time in advance to prepare his neck and his body for all of the G-forces. So Oliver Behrman, he'll be following the same kind of thing as Colapinto, doing heavy fuel runs at the start and then slowly going down to hot laps. And also he will be driving the Haas car next year, so it's a good sort of, he'll build a bit of a connection with the engineers, he'll spend a bit of time with them, and then of course he'll be learning from Nico Hulkenberg. The door will be open to, for him to ask any questions, learn stuff about the car, because the car won't be all that different from this year to next year. So this is a great learning opportunity for Oliver Behrman. He can, get a feel for the car, understand it a little bit, and all right, Kimi Antonelli is going to leave Mercedes. I don't think so. Kimi Antonelli has been confirmed that he will be driving for Mercedes. We'll have the team radios coming through on the right-hand side. In fact, let me just get rid of this countdown timer. There we go. And we'll have the team radios coming through very, very shortly. Kimi Antonelli, he has been signed for Mercedes, in fact, so he'll be driving for Mercedes next year. What upgrades for the Red Bull? It will be floor upgrades for the Red Bull. They have brought a new floor upgrade package in the hopes of fixing all of their balance issues. The main issue has been the floor. In these cars, the floor generates the majority of the downforce at the higher speeds, and we're going to they've brought a new upgrade package to the floor, trying something totally different in the interest of fixing all of their issues. So we'll see if that works out for them. But yeah, we are going to get, I think Albon will be the first driver out of the pits. We've already got the drivers queuing up at the end of the pit lane. And there we go, Alex Albon, first driver out of the pits. Fantastic. All right. I guess the worst driver of the season already left the paddock. Yeah, I mean, Logan Sargent, he hasn't had the best entry into Formula 1. And he wasn't improving all that much. A lot of drivers do start out their career quite badly, but then they are on an upward trajectory, improving. And they didn't see that with Logan Sargent, not enough at least, and because of that, he got kicked out of Williams. All right, though, we've got loads of drivers exiting the paddock very, very soon. Exiting the pit, sorry, that's what I meant. Right, I may say my name out loud. Emmett Martin Racing, sure. Softs for Max. Yeah, Max coming out on softs. I don't think it really means much to the drivers. Most of the time, they're on their first lap of practice. All they're doing is driving around, checking the gearbox, the engine, the electronics. Everything is working as expected. They'll come back into the pits, put in some more fuel, and then go out and do their long runs. So, just an install lap for most of the drivers. Not too much to read into which tyres they're using and which tyres they aren't. Giovinazzi looks good compared to Sargent. Yeah, Giovinazzi was pretty good. He was also improving a little bit. He started out his career, was a little slow, improved, but then sort of stopped improving. And there were other drivers that wanted seats, and they got them. So I think Giovinazzi is a reserve driver. I think he's doing test driver work for Ferrari. Maybe he's doing it for Sauber. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, Piastri's just come over the radio saying the track feels very, very low grip. This is something that we are going to expect. Of course, it is a street circuit here in Azerbaijan, so the circuit is normally used to, SUVs and little lorries and stuff like that, lorries and cars driving around, not racing machines that go 300 kilometers an hour through corners. So yeah, the track will slowly but surely grip up, and there's a lot of rubbering to do. The surface hasn't been the track hasn't been resurfaced, but of course the circuit has been used for just day-to-day driving rather than racetracks. The weather forecast for this weekend is completely sunny. It's sunny today, 29 degree air temperature, 41 degree track temperature. The clouds are out a little bit as of now, but yeah, very, very sunny, and the same for tomorrow and the same for the day after. So it's sunshine and rainbows in Azerbaijan. That's what it looks like, and probably will stay that way. Alright folks, we've got 1,000 people tuning into the live stream. That is fantastic. If you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. And folks, if you aren't subscribed, then a subscription would very much be appreciated, because I think this weekend might be the one we hit 100k. So yeah, of course, we're still 4,000 away, but I think we got 4,000 subscribers last race weekend as well. So we should hopefully hit 100k. That would be epic. All right, who's Oliver Behrman replacing for FP1? Oliver Behrman is actually replacing Kevin Magnussen for the entire race weekend. K-Mag has got a race ban. He got that after a collision in Monza. He got too many penalty points on his super license. So in the same way that, I'm not sure, it depends on whichever country you are in the world, but here in the UK, I think if you get 6 points within 2 years of passing your driving exam or something, you have to retake your driving exam just to make sure you're a safe driver. So in the same way, Kevin Magnussen, he has got 12 penalty points in the space of 6 months, I think, or 12 months, and because of that he's got a race ban. So Oliver Behrman, he is replacing Kevin Magnussen for this race. K-Mag will be back next weekend in Singapore. But yeah, Behrman's got a big task to deal with now. He's got to navigate the streets of Baku with the narrowest circuit. In fact, we've got turn number 8 on this circuit is the narrowest point on the Formula 1 calendar. It is only 7.8 meters wide, so you can barely go too wide through that corner. It's very, very tricky to go too wide. I don't think we're going to see it even on lap 1. But that is the narrowest part of the entire Formula 1 calendar. Not even Monaco is narrower than 7.8 meters. The 7.8 meter width that we have at turn number 8. So, Okie dokes. Let's see, what else have we got? Reminds me a bit of Fisichella, Trulli, and Jean Lacey said, having said that he has more natural speed than those guys and far better race management too. Maybe just not good enough to compete with Verstappen on a regular basis. Yeah, I think Leclerc. Leclerc has some issues with consistency, I'd say. Well, that being said, he was very, very consistent at Monza last weekend. So I think Leclerc, on a race-by-race basis, some races he's good, some races he's bad. But he also hasn't had the most reliable, consistent car from Ferrari. So we'll see. We'll see what Charles Leclerc can do. We've got a black and white flag for Sergio Perez for crossing the line at the pit exit. I don't know how Perez has done that. I think what happens is on the pit lane exit there is space for drivers to sort of queue up and do a practice grid start at the end of the pit lane, and I think they were probably just getting in the way a little bit, and Perez had to swerve around them. So yeah. All right. At F1 Gamer, what are the best times for this circuit? I think it's a 1:44. I'll have to check that on my phone, to be honest, but yeah, I will check that for you. What application am I using to view this? I'm using Multiviewer, but you do need a paid subscription of F1 TV. So yeah. Right, where is my phone? Oh, it's over there. Let me just get it. I'll check the fastest times for the Azerbaijan Street Circuit. It is sunny, folks. The track temperature is 41 degrees, air temperature 29 degrees. Very hot out there in Baku. Oh, we have got a yellow flag deployed. Who is that yellow flag for? I'm not exactly sure. I think it was Guan Yu Zhou. Actually, I'm not sure who it was, but someone I think just went off into the runoff area. Let me just get I'll see if we get a replay of that. But yeah, it happens quite often here at Baku. Going into turn number 1, you lock the brakes, go straight off into the runoff, and then they pull out a yellow flag just to be safe. So yeah, we've got a replay here. No idea who caused that yellow flag, but everything seems to be fine. All right. Look at that, Lewis Hamilton top of the timings. Oh, we've got a replay here. Who was that? Oh no. It was Colapinto. A piece of debris, piece of something came off his rear wing, and yeah, I think it was Guan Yu Zhou who. Oh no, it was Bottas actually. Yeah, Bottas went off at turn number 1, and that caused the yellow flag. Yeah, it was very interesting actually. Bottas locked the rear tyres rather than locking the fronts, which is not something you see very often. Well, you see the fronts getting locked often, the rear tyres though not so much. I think Bottas probably didn't change his brake bias enough. Normally the drivers run around 58% brake bias at this circuit. At the heavy braking zones, you do want a lot of your brake bias on the front. So yeah, essentially, I think Bottas may have had that around 55 or a little bit lower. And yeah, that caused the rear locking going into turn number 1. All right. Hamilton once again complaining about the seat being very hot. We saw this last weekend out in Monza. Both Russell and Hamilton were complaining about the seat being hot. And once again, Hamilton is again complaining about the seat being hot. So, yeah. All right. The quickest times was a 1:40. In fact, yeah, 1:40.2 is the quali times from last year. So yeah, that is the quickest lap around this circuit. So the drivers are going quite a lot slower, 10 seconds a lap slower compared to last year. Of course, this is something that you normally see at a street circuit. The drivers do not start attacking whatsoever until they get a good feel for the car, and yeah. All right, Piastri comes over the radio saying bottoming level is quite high throughout the high speed. It's not exactly straightforward. So McLaren it looks like they're running the car a little bit low. And the other factor is Baku is, of course, a street circuit. It's not going to be perfectly smooth. And there are quite a few bumps on the circuit, which means the car does bottom out a lot more. So a little bit difficult to control, especially the high-speed corners of turn number, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. All of those corners are very, very high speed. And the drivers, you do want a stable rear end there, because if you do get a bit of bottoming out and the rear starts sliding, then you lose a lot of time and it's very easy to make a mistake at that part of the circuit. So we'll wait and see. Verstappen's purple in the middle sector. Leclerc puts himself up into first with a purple first sector. Stroll has just come over the radio saying this is not a car. This is not a car right now. I don't know exactly what that means. I don't know why Stroll is saying a Formula 1 car is not a car. But yeah, interesting. They're using the hardest tire compounds from Pirelli. They're using the the C1, C2, and C3 for the hard, medium, and soft, respectively. So yeah, hardest of Pirelli's range. You do get quite a lot of high-speed corners, especially the final couple of corners. That they put most of the load on the tires, and that's why Pirelli, as a precaution, use the hardest tires. Normally at street circuit, you don't see the hardest tires being used. But turn number 17, 18, 19 put massive loads on those tyres, because the drivers are going around 250 Ks at that point, and then they're also hitting quite high G loads through those corners. So yeah, Pirelli have to play it safe. Of course, we did see punctures in 2021. I think Stroll got a puncture, Verstappen got a puncture. So yeah, Pirelli just beefing up those tyres to make sure that none of that gets repeated. Okay. What? Oh, we got a red flag. Why have we got a red flag? Hamilton's quickest through the speed traps at 200 miles per hour. But who has crashed? Why have we got a red flag here? They are not showing me on the TV feed. It looks like drivers are going very slowly in the middle sector. What is the cause of this red flag? Bottas. Oh no, Bottas is still moving. That's fine. They've come over. Bottas is saying, "Do you know what the crash is for? I don't see anything at the moment. Not sure what it's for." It's just debris. Okay. It was debris at turn number 12. I think. Yeah, that's what they've caused. They've called a red flag for debris. A bit surprising there. Leclerc on the replay has just missed the corner at turn number 16, but that's pretty standard stuff. They're saying debris at turn number 12 is the reason for a red flag. I mean, I don't know. Normally they could bring out the virtual safety car, I think, in practice sessions, just to clear up some debris, but clearly not this weekend. And they've decided to bring out the full red flag. Yeah, interesting. Alright, folks, if you haven't hit the like button, please be sure to do so. It massively, massively helps out the channel. And yeah, hopefully we can hit 500 likes. And hopefully we can hit 100,000 subscribers this weekend as well. That would be fantastic. So, yeah. Alright, everyone's back into the pits. This red flag is gonna last around probably 10 seconds, to be honest. Everyone comes back into the pits, they'll clear the debris up, and then we'll be going racing again. Well, going practice again, but yeah. Russell's come over the racing. I've got something in my left elbow aggravating me. Could you take a look? So yeah, well, the F1 cockpits are very tight and enclosed spaces, and Russell is a pretty tall person, so it's quite likely that he could have his his elbow hitting the edge of the cockpit, or maybe there's a screw or a bolt hitting getting in the way, but I don't know, it seems a little strange because they won't normally change the cockpit mid-season, so I don't know what's happening there with Russell, but I'm sure they'll just put a bit of padding on his elbow. I think I don't know which driver used to have padding on their knees, but yeah, you can just have some padding on your elbow and you'll be fine, I think. The red flag was out because there is debris on the circuit. They're just clearing the debris off, and then we should be good to go. Yeah, the marshals are. The marshals were going there picking up some debris. I don't know why. It seemed like a very tiny amount of debris. Yeah, it seems like something that can fit in the palm of your hand. But they have caught a red flag for that. Very odd. Have not seen that happen for a very long time. But we'll see. What do you think about the Honda engine in the Aston Martin? I think the Merc power unit would be fine. Yeah, I think the Merc power unit would be fine, but there must be some advantage by using the Honda power unit. Maybe it's cheaper. Maybe it takes up a slightly smaller size. Maybe you can package the gearbox better with the engine, and or maybe it's got slightly better reliability. There are loads of different factors that can sway you to change engine provider. It is a very big task, of course, but I think in 2026, when you're totally changing and redesigning the car, it can be quite incorporated quite easily into that. So yeah, I think Aston, in this cost cap era, I think the cost of the engine is, if you're buying the engine from Mercedes and they're charging you a very high price, because, it's in Mercedes' best interest for them to charge a high price to McLaren, and then McLaren, they have less money to spend elsewhere, and Mercedes is the quicker team rather than McLaren. So, yeah, I guess Mercedes might be charging them too much and they want to go with Honda. What is debris? Debris is just parts. It was just I think a damaged part of the car has just fell onto the circuit. A bit of carbon fiber. What about the papaya rules? Well, the papaya rules have been changed and tweaked. Oh, there we go. Green flag once again. Drivers making their way out. The papaya rules were just saying that Norris and Piastri can race whenever they want. Now they're not using the papaya rules now. If the team say to Piastri, you have to compromise your race to give Norris more points, then Piastri should follow. That's what Piastri should do. Whether Piastri will do it, that is a totally different question. So let's see. Let's see what happens. Okie dokes. All right, 1,600 people tuned into live stream. That is fantastic, folks. Hope you guys are enjoying the coverage. Yeah. Okie dokes. So, yeah, everyone coming back out now, and everyone coming back out on medium tyres. Looks like they're coming out on the same used tyres that they were on before. Just getting some long runs in and getting a feel for the car around this circuit. What are your predictions for Sunday according to you? Well, I think it's a little bit too early to give out predictions, to be honest. Yeah, a little bit too early in the weekend. I haven't even seen, Max Verstappen do a quick lap on soft tyres. Maybe the upgrade package works fantastically for Red Bull. They have brought a new upgrade package this weekend, trying to fix all of their issues. It's quite a big upgrade package as well. So there is potential that all of their issues could be fixed. So, I'll have to wait till FP3 to look at the hot laps from Verstappen, see if the car looks stable, and actually a good indicator of if the car is stable. If Perez can deal with the car, then Verstappen can definitely deal with the car, because the way that it has been for quite a while now, the Red Bull car is slightly undrivable. Verstappen is able to deal with that slight instability and undrivability, whereas Perez is much more sensitive to that and can't deal with it. So if Perez is looking good in the Red Bull and there's no twitches and there's no snaps and there's no drifting and anything like that, then I think Verstappen will have a very good shot of potentially being, in the top three once again, and competing for that win. So it all depends on this upgrade package for Red Bull. McLaren haven't brought any upgrade package. Mercedes have in fact gone back an upgrade package because the upgrade package they brought, I think, at Monza or the race before Monza, it wasn't working that well. So they've gone back to an older upgrade package which they know works. And yeah, so they're using that. So Mercedes have gone back an upgrade package. McLaren have brought no new upgrades this weekend. Red Bull have brought massive upgrades, and Ferrari had massive upgrades at Monza. So, well, we'll have to wait and see. Maybe McLaren will be competing with Ferrari and Red Bull, because Ferrari are pretty quick at Monza, and Monza's a high-speed, long, straight circuit, and Baku is very much of a very similar kind of thing. Maybe Mercedes will be competing with McLaren because Mercedes have gone back to a quicker version of their car. Maybe Red Bull, or maybe all four. I think if it's all four, then that would be fantastic. So yeah, we'll wait and see what happens for the upgrades. But it's a little bit early in the weekend to figure out, are these upgrades really working for the team. Oh, Ocon has said, I've got a problem, I've got no power. Ocon has got some sort of issue. Is the Alpine engine not the most powerful out of in Formula 1? They're 15 horsepower down compared to everyone else. And now it looks like they're suffering from reliability issues as well. Ocon is crawling out of turn number 20. It looks like he's going to make it back to the pits, but the car is in a safe mode of sorts. And is his steering wheel on? Yeah, his steering wheel is on, so it's not completely lost all electronics. But he's in third gear, just crawling down the straight, and he's hitting the steering wheel. He's a little clearly annoyed there. And yeah, his speed is capped at 103 kilometers an hour, 63 miles an hour for anyone else. And yeah, he makes his way into the pit lane, but yeah. They're going to have to fix those issues there at the Alpine garage before Ocon will be seeing the circuit again. Alright, Verstappen 146.8 from him. He's 0.6 ahead of Leclerc. They're on medium tyres doing high fuel runs, so really not too much to read into here. I think Leclerc and Verstappen's fuel load are probably slightly different, considering that Leclerc is 0.7 of a second slower. We've got a replay here from Esteban Ocon. He is going through turn number 8 and makes his way towards turn number 13, in fact, and that's when he loses power going through the corners. So there was no sort of contact or anything. Ooh, we've got one of this, that's Carlos Sainz reversing. He went down the escape road and he's reversed out the escape road. Yellow flags deployed. And yeah, now once again, green flags are back out again. And yeah, this is what we see here at Monza. Loads of drivers making mistakes, going off escape roads, yellow flags being deployed left, right and centre. And I have a feeling that a virtual safety car or a safety car should be deployed this race. We haven't had one in 8 races time, but I think this weekend might be one of those weekends where we get a couple of safety cars. Leclerc across the line, 146.6. He goes quicker than Verstappen by 1/4 of a second. Great lap from Charles Leclerc. It looks like Hamilton's pushing now, and Hamilton's got a purple middle sector, so let's wait and see what he can do. But yeah, we're just watching the replay of Carlos Sainz. He's onto the power, and he's braking, and gets a bit of a lock-up. In fact, I think what happened was, Carlos Sainz was braking on the white line. Yeah, the white line is very tricky to brake on. You lose a lot of grip on the painted surface of the white line, so... Yeah, Carlos Sainz was using his front brakes to the absolute limit, and his tyres were really hanging on there. But the fact that he was on the white line meant that the car was just going to slide on, and he pulled into the escape road before making any sort of damage with the curbs. I think, in fact, was that Carlos Sainz or Charles Leclerc? I can't tell, but one of the Ferraris has just kissed the wall. A very slight touch there on the exit of turn number 4, I think. Yeah. All right. Ocon just realised he had a Renault engine, indeed. The Renault engine hasn't been all that amazing, and since Red Bull were using them back in 2018, I'd say Red Bull were suffering a lot of issues with the Renault engine, and they changed it out for the Honda engine in 2019. And Alpine have been using their own engines ever since. Nobody else has decided to use the Alpine engines. They aren't the most reliable. They aren't the quickest. So why would you take that gamble and spend all of those resources redesigning the rear of your car just to accommodate a new engine that is going to give you the same horsepower and probably a little bit less reliability. All right, I'm going to have a quick sip of water. I'll be back in just a second. Yeah. Opinion on Adrian Newey going to Aston Martin? Well, I think it's a fantastic thing, isn't it, for Aston Martin? They are going to be super pleased with a new wind tunnel. Adrian Newey as, potentially the best Formula One engineer history has ever seen, and a whole lot of a new factory. Fernando Alonso driving the car. They're going to be super pleased with that, and maybe we'll see Lance Stroll get a race win. Maybe we'll see him fight for the championship, but I don't think if the Aston Martin car is right up there at the top of the pack in 2026, then I don't think Stroll will have any sort of competition against Fernando Alonso. Fernando Alonso will just blow right past him. Of course, Alonso is getting a little bit older, and as time goes on, qualifying is the first thing. One lap pace is the first thing that starts to go. I think Nico Rosberg was talking about that last weekend in Monza. The first sign that you are aging and you're getting slower. Oh, we've got a yellow flag. One of the Ferraris is in the wall. Who is that? That is Charles Leclerc. He's damaged his front right suspension. He's straight into the wall at turn number 15. That corner is so tricky. I think if he'd locked up, you have a split second to decide, are you going to make the corner or are you going to go down the escape road? And Charles Leclerc decided a split second too late and went into the barriers. Yeah, so Alonso is getting a little bit older, but I think he's still got far more pace that we've still got left to see in him. So, yeah, all right, red flag is once again out for the second time this weekend. Leclerc's out of the car, front right suspension damage, front wing totally gone. Fred Vasseur not particularly pleased, but you are here at the street circuit, you are here at the streets of Baku, and there is only so much you can expect a driver to do. And yeah, he switched everything off, out of the car. Everyone making their way back to the pits very slowly. We've got a replay here of Charles Leclerc. He's going towards turn number 15, and he gets onto the brakes and just massive amounts of understeer. Didn't slow down the car enough, and that was it for him. Yeah, locked up the brakes. In fact, yeah, locked up. There is a split second when you know that you aren't going to make that corner, and you've got to, or where you know that you potentially can't make the corner, and you have the chance to either go down the escape road or go into the barriers. Leclerc said, I took the dirt on the outside. We did see that. It's not the same corner as I Am Stupid. That's turn number 8 is where I Am Stupid moment happened for Charles Leclerc. Turn number 15 is where he crashed. But on the outside of turn number 15, at the braking zone, there was a bit of dirt and dust, and Leclerc said that he picked a bit of that up. I don't know how much to believe him, because he locked up his inside tyre, not his outside tyre. So, if he locked up his outside tyre, then that would make sense that he had dust on his outside tyre, but there was no dust on the inside part of the circuit. But the crane is already out there picking up Charles Leclerc's car, so 5 minutes, I would say, till we get going once again. All right, he was on a good lap until the car damaged heavily. Leclerc had a purple first sector, and then a couple of purple mini sectors in the second sector as well. So yeah, a fairly good lap. He was pushing pretty hard, and then into the wall he goes. Alonso's strength is actual racing. He is the best in that, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, Alonso, he has got fantastic racecraft. I mean, if you guys remember, I say 2021, where he had to do that amazing job defending against Lewis Hamilton at Hungary, so Ocon could go on and win the 2021 Hungarian Grand Prix. Those 10 laps of defending and placing the car at the exact right place at the correct time. and, you know, braking as late as possible, not locking up, not having any sort of those issues. I think only Fernando Alonso could do that. So, yeah, no, Alonso has got fantastic racecraft. We've seen it time and time again throughout his career. So, yeah, I think he's still got the edge on top on most drivers in terms of racecraft. He knows where you can back off a little bit. I think we saw that. I think it was this year. Was it in the Australian Grand Prix? Yeah, it was Fernando Alonso. What did he do? Going into turn number 6, he came off the throttle a little bit early, which meant that Russell would have dirty air going through turn number 6 at the Australian Grand Prix, and because Russell will have dirty air, he'd get a bit of understeer, go wide, and not be able to get onto the throttle as early as possible. He was doing that quite consistently to, you know, just to ensure that Russell wouldn't be able to overtake him. And I don't think any other driver would sort of think of that and say, oh, all right, I'm going to lift and coast into turn number 6, so the driver behind me gets a dirty air, so they understeer, so they can't get on the power, and so they can't overtake me. You know, it's a very complicated thing that you have to, you know, understand while you're racing at 200 miles an hour. So yeah, how long till the race red flag ends? That will be probably 5 minutes time. They've already got the crane out to Charles Leclerc's car. They're just going to pick it out of the barriers and stick it onto the crane, and good to go. Yeah. All right. What is your opinion on Daniel Ricciardo? Well, Daniel Ricciardo, he's had his opportunities in Formula 1. He's been given quite a few second chances. Of course, after Red Bull, he went to Renault. Renault hasn't worked out that well for him. He went to McLaren as a second chance. Still at McLaren, didn't do all that well. Did, of course, get that race win in 2021 in, what's it called? In Monza. And then he's now gone to Red Bull on a second or a third chance, I'd say. Racing Bull, sorry. And yeah, maybe he'll get another chance at Red Bull, but it's looking pretty unlikely. I think Perez is doing a decent enough job. I think last weekend as well, Perez wasn't all that far off Verstappen. So if Perez can hang on a little bit, then maybe he'll stay at Red Bull. We'll see. Why is Perez 15th position? Perez was about to do a hot lap and then Charles Leclerc crashed, so that's why he's in 15th. Alright, how much is the Ferrari damage? Do you think they can fix it until FP2? Indeed they can. The track has in fact been clear, so session is resuming in 1 minute's time, folks, so the green flag will be out, the drivers will be coming out, sorry, very, very soon. The crash is really not that bad. He's damaged the front right suspension, so they'll have to replace those parts. And they have damaged the front wing, but they always have spare front wings. So yeah, they're fine. They'll get that fixed in no time. It's probably the most common type of repair that the mechanics have to do. Just replacing the front suspension and the front wing. So yeah, no, it's nothing major for the mechanics. And Leclerc will be out in FP2. All right. 1,800 people tuned into the live stream. Thank you everyone for tuning in, folks. If you guys are enjoying the coverage, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Hopefully we can hit 100,000 subscribers this weekend. That would be fantastic. But yeah, folks, the like button would be very much appreciated. All right, we've got drivers already queuing up at the end of the pit lane, getting ready to go out. We should have a green light at the end of the pit lane. There we go, green light at the end of the pit lane, and the first drivers are making their way out. Oh, okie dokie. A bit of a traffic jam, in fact. Nico Hülkenberg getting sent out into the path of one of the Williams cars. Who was that? I think it was Albon, I'm not sure. But yeah, Haas team making a little bit of a mistake there, but they're not going to be penalised for it, given that it is just practice. Alright, expect to see Behrman in the points. Well, Behrman is, of course, driving the Haas car. He's not driving the Ferrari like he was in Saudi Arabia. He did score points in Saudi with a Ferrari team, so we'll see if he can score any points this weekend with the Haas. Yeah, well, the first thing that he's got to do is stay out of trouble. We'll have 58 laps of racing here, and each one of those laps is an opportunity to just bin it into the wall like Leclerc has just done. So task number 1 is to not crash the car. Then task number 2 is to go score some points. Because, well, you obviously can't score any points if you've already crashed the car. All right. Hello, OG Ninja. Nice to see you here. Alright, if Leclerc makes points during the race, Verstappen will have an advantage. Don't know exactly what that means. Alright, yeah, but Leclerc's still top of the timings, even though that he's crashed. I think Verstappen will soon beat that, and probably one of the McLarens as well. Norris and Piastri will be looking in. Piastri's out on a set of soft tyres, so he should be doing a hot lap, I think. Yeah. Hello, if I'm getting barely made it here, but I'm here. Yeah. Well, nice to see you here. Yeah, I guess I don't know if the time zones are slightly off for you, but yeah, very much is appreciated. Oh, a yellow flag once again. Who's that? It's Lance Stroll. Goes off into the runoff area. He locks up and goes off into the runoff, but that's fine. Been cleared up ASAP, and we're back to green flags. Yeah, we're getting a lot of yellow flags here. A lot of much more eventful FP1 and FP2 session that we're expecting this weekend compared to Monza. Monza was quite, well, it wasn't boring, but we did have Kimi Antonelli driving in FP1. But there really weren't that many incidents, whereas this weekend we're going to have drivers crashing, going off into the runoff, all sorts of things. With Newey working at Aston Martin, can we see world champion Alonso again? I definitely think so. I think if Newey will, if he nails the new regulations have already been released, I think, for 2026. And the teams will start developing the cars next year for 2026. Aston Martin will have a fantastic chance if Newey is, if his track record's already fantastic. So if he just continues the track record, then Alonso could be world champion. Who replaced Kevin Magnussen? Oliver Behrman is replacing Kevin Magnussen for this one race weekend because of a race ban for K-Mag. All right. Is P4 actually a W for Max Verstappen? I think P4 is... Well, if he gets 4th position, I'm sure he'll be... Well, I'm sure Verstappen won't be pleased. He'll want to win the race. But the question remains is Norris winning the race? Because if Norris is winning the race and Verstappen is coming P4, it is definitely not a W for Max Verstappen. Because I think if it continues that way with Norris finishing every race 1st and Verstappen finishing every race 4th, then Norris will win the World Drivers' Championship. So, yeah, it's definitely not a W if Verstappen finishes in 4th. It would be an improvement over Monza, that's for sure, because the Red Bull wasn't all that quick in Monza, so if they can get 4th position this weekend, it'll be an improvement and sort of an upward trajectory, but yeah, we'll see how it works out for Max Verstappen. Ricciardo across the line on a set of soft tyres up into 3rd place, nice quick lap from him. A 146.6, but that being said, everyone is 6 seconds a lap slower than the Q3 times last year. So yeah, there's still a lot of time for the drivers to make up. They aren't pushing whatsoever. The circuit just isn't all that grippy. Piastri, as soon as he came out, the first thing he said over the radio was the circuit's very, very low grip, and over the course of 3 practice sessions, the circuit will start gripping up, and then the teams and the drivers will get a lot quicker. All right, Oscar Piastri across the line, 1st place for him, nicely done. And we'll have Norris coming across the line as well. He's got a bit of a toe off Verstappen as well. Norris got a nice toe off Verstappen, quicker in the final sector by a 10th or so, and he's 0.2 quicker than his teammate. Nicely done from Lando Norris. All right. Let's see, who else have we got coming across the line? Hamilton is in. Hamilton's starting a flying lap, in fact. And I think we've got a couple more drivers on hot laps. Gasly with a purple third sector. He's clearly got a toe there. But nonetheless, a good job there from Pierre Gasly. This is another thing. The drivers will be playing around for a toe. It's quite likely that in qualifying we're going to see drivers squabble around for position, trying to get a toe off each other at turn number 16. There, we've seen quite often the drivers form a enormous queue at turn number 16, trying to get a big toe. So we'll see how that plays out. Maybe at McLaren, what they're going to do is, because they're trying to prioritize Lando Norris, Piastri will be forced to give Lando Norris a toe down the main straight. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work out for them, but we'll see. We've seen this in the past though. Teams have tried to sort of organize a tow for their drivers by sending out other drivers at different times and things. So we'll see how that works out. But especially in Q1, it's going to be very tricky with all 20 drivers out on the circuit, and the circuit being so narrow. Traffic will be quite a large issue. Alright, another yellow, a double yellow. What's that? Colapinto at turn number 4. That could be a major issue. There isn't a lot of runoff at turn number 4. Let's get a replay here. What's happened to Colapinto? Red flag. Red flag is out. Colapinto has crashed at turn number 4. You know, his job was really to not crash and not do what Logan Sargent would do. Colapinto's fine. It wasn't a very big crash, but he went into the barriers at turn number 4, carried too much speed, front left suspension once again, and front wing is damaged. The same as Charles Leclerc. Leclerc damaged his front right suspension. Colapinto damaged his front left suspension. Yeah, it should not be a long red flag, but this is the third red flag in this FP1 session. We've had quite a lot of action so far. Yeah, all right. We'll wait and see what happens with Colapinto. James Vowles doesn't look all too pleased, but yeah. Oh, Colapinto, he lost the rear of the car. Ooh, going into turn number 4, the rear of the car spun around. He had to correct the car. But there was just no room for error. The barriers are right there. The rear of the car spun around, Colapinto into the barriers. He might have damaged his rear left suspension as well. It looked like it took the impact quite well, to be fair, and it bounced off the wall, so we'll see. They'll have to inspect it. If the rear left suspension is damaged, then that might take a little bit more time, but we'll wait and see. We shall wait and see. Alright, hey F1 Gamer, YouTube unsubscribed me from your channel last practice live stream. I had to resubscribe. Well, folks, if you aren't subscribed to my channel, and if you thought you're subscribed, but maybe YouTube has unsubscribed you, then go ahead and just check if you've been unsubscribed. But yeah, it is very much appreciated if you could hit the like button and subscribe as well. We're getting pretty close to 500 likes, and we're getting pretty close to 100k. Will Charles still be able to practice 2 on quali? Yeah, indeed he will. He'll be able to drive in free practice 2. Colapinto should be fine as well for free practice 2. They still have, I think, 2 hours between free practice 1 and 2, so it should be enough time for them to sort out any sort of issues. And yeah, Colapinto and Charles both will be taking part in free practice 2, 3, and quali. They deployed the medical car. You sure Colapinto is okay? Yeah, I am sure Colapinto is okay. They normally just deploy the medical car. I think in free practice sessions they deploy them just to check out all of the procedures. I'm not 100% sure, but it didn't look like the impact was that big. I think there's a certain G limit. If it's over, say, 15G or 10G or something, the medical car will get deployed automatically, and that's why it's been deployed. But yeah, Colapinto is totally fine. Hamilton, a 1/10.5 quicker than Norris down the straights. So, interesting there. Hamilton, of course, he did get a purple third sector. He must have got a toe, I think, because there is no way that he went, 4/10 quicker, 2/10 quicker just in the final sector alone. But yeah, that being said, the toe is enormously important. So we'll see. Oh, and I guess they've also deployed it for Colapinto because Colapinto has only had 2 races in Formula 1. His neck and his body isn't totally adjusted to all of the G-forces. So I guess it's, better safe than sorry, and you might as well just send out the safety car. Yeah. Oh, the medical car, sorry, not the safety car. All right. Oh, look at this. We've got a team radio from Ollie Behrman. It says, yeah, Ollie, just to be aware, Nico had a DRS problem. And that's at the top of my head. It would have cost around half a second, 0.6. So just put that in. So Oliver Behrman was using DRS. Nico Hülkenberg wasn't using DRS. He was having some issues with the DRS. So we'll see. I think Red Bull was suffering from some DRS issues last year. This year, it looks like... Well, not this year. I think just this weekend, Nico Hülkenberg has had some issues with his DRS. So we'll see if they can get that fixed. But it's going to be pretty important because DRS is quite important at this circuit. The DRS zone has been extended by 100 meters this weekend. It was previously 347 meters after... previously it was 447 meters after turn number 20 is when you could activate DRS, but now they've reduced that to 347 meters after turn number 20 till you can activate DRS. So yeah, a longer DRS zone should lead for some more overtaking. That is, of course, if you can open your DRS flap, which Nico Hülkenberg was suffering from a couple of issues from. All right. Yeah, Colapinto's just coming back in the medical car. They've already picked up the car and they've picked it up on the crane. They've taken it off the circuit. So yeah, they are good to go. And we'll have, I think that's what's the third red flag? Third red flag this practice session. But the drivers will be not long now till we get a track clear message and a practice restart message from race control. Ooh, if we look at turn number 2 here, we are seeing that Lando Norris, just in turn number 2 alone, is 0.3 quicker than Oscar Piastri. Now, of course, this is practice. Normally, as the drivers get to qualifying, they are basically identical through all of the corners. But yeah, Norris, he was braking a lot earlier than Piastri and picking up the power a lot sooner. He was taking a late apex approach to slow in, fast out approach to the corner. And when you do have a very long straight, like you do on the exit of turn number 2, it's quite important to do the slow in, fast out way of taking corners and really maximize your speed down the straights. All right, we are now, 50 seconds? 50 seconds away from 80 seconds, something along those lines, till getting a green flag at the end of the pit lane. The track is clear, as it says on the bottom left of your screen. And yeah. Okie doke, so I'm watching it on TV and listening to a commentary, lol. Well, thank you very much. That's very kind of you. That you think that my commentary is better than the TV commentary. All right. Oh yeah, if we look at the speed traps, Hamilton is quickest down the speed trap, so maybe it wasn't totally a tow, but Hamilton 200 miles per hour, 323 kilometers an hour through the speed traps. Compared to a lot of the other drivers that were just slightly slower by around about 5 to 8 kilometers an hour slower through there. So not all that major, but nonetheless, where it adds up when you've got a 2 kilometer long flat out section. Any sort of minor edges in top speed that you have over other drivers will totally add up over the course of that 2 kilometer long straight. F1 Gamer, I am sure that Hamilton didn't have a tow in that lap. Well, maybe he didn't then. Yeah. Well, I guess Hamilton might be running a low downforce setup because I'm not sure how he was so quick through the final sector, because the final sector is just the straight, the 2 kilometer long straight. So Mercedes, they do have a new floor. It would be new in quotation marks because it's technically the old floor that they had, and they're just using that instead of the upgraded floor that they brought, I think, in Monza or the race before Monza. They had some issues with the upgraded floor and they've gone back to the older floor that they've got. So yeah. have to wonder if Russell's motivation dropped slightly. That that DSQ hurt. Yeah, maybe. Russell was saying afterwards that for him, he still treats it as a win because he was the fastest driver on that, on that race day. But yeah, of course, not having the trophy, not having those 25 points to your name will come with a significant impact. I think Russell, he hasn't been too bad compared to Hamilton. I think in the races he's been struggling a little bit, but in quali still been able to compete with Hamilton. So yeah, we'll see. I don't think his motivation has dropped too much. Yeah. All right. I guess we've hit 500 likes, so I'll set the like target to 600. Here we go. I'm usually watching a commentary while also watching the quali and the race on TV. Only the quali and the race is shown on TV because your commentary is definitely better. Well, thank you very much, LW Kappa. Do you think Hamilton will regret his decision to Ferrari, considering Merc are on the up? Well, that's tough to say, isn't it? Well, that question is essentially asking, do you think Mercedes is going to be better than Ferrari, or do you think Ferrari is going to be better than Mercedes? Because Hamilton, if you look at it from Hamilton's bank account, I'm sure that he will not be, he won't regret his decision of moving to Ferrari. But if you look at it in terms of how many points he's going to get, well, that's just asking, is Verstappen, is he going to be quick? Is the Mercedes going to be quicker than the Ferrari? And I have no way of telling. Like, they have Ferrari have taken a couple of the key Red Bull staff away from Red Bull, so there is a chance that Ferrari will be able to develop a quick car, but there's also a chance that Mercedes will be able to develop a quick car. And if you look at it in terms of now, both teams are on level footing. Ferrari, they had a massive upgrade package at Monza. It worked fantastically. They went and won at Monza. And Mercedes had a fantastic upgrade package a couple of races ago, and they've been doing really well as well. So it's tough to say which team will be the quicker team. Yeah. So I don't know. I can't really answer your question. So, yeah. I watch live on Swiss TV and listen to your commentary, even though you're 15 seconds behind the race or so. Well, I think if you pause, I don't know if it's on Swiss TV you can pause. You probably can. But if you pause the Swiss TV and just wait for it to catch up to me, or wait for me to catch up to the Swiss TV and then unpause it again, then you'll probably be fine. Oh no, Albon. Has Albon just crashed at turn number 4 where Colapinto's crashed? There's a yellow flag that's out. Oh no, Albon's fine. Okay, that was very, very close there. All right, we'll get a replay of that. But Albon with a yellow flag deployed at the exact same corner where his teammate crashed. Sainz across the line, 3rd place for him, very nicely done. And Hamilton now starting his hot lap. He got a toe off Sainz going down the main straight, but to start his lap. But we'll see what he can get. Hamilton slows down once again, actually. Not sure why he's done that. Verstappen purple in the first sector. Nicely done. And no, we haven't even got a replay of what Albon did. So, right. Don't know why they're not giving us a replay. But Verstappen making his way through the middle sector, very nicely done, going all the way up to the barriers, making sure to stay away from the dust and the white line. They do, of course, reduce the grip of the car significantly. And now he heads towards turn number 15, 300 kilometers an hour before he slams onto the brakes. The car sliding around ever so slightly, but it looks a lot more stable than it did in Monza. He gets a good exit at turn number 16, twitches slightly over the curbs, but he is half a second up on Lewis Hamilton's time. He's purple through both the sectors. Verstappen and Perez both in 14th and 15th position in the speed trap speeds. They're 195 miles per hour. Hamilton is 200 miles per hour. So only a 5 mile per hour difference, or 8 kilometers per hour difference. But oh my God, look at that. Verstappen, he was 0.4 up on Lewis Hamilton going through the second sector. But then as he came across the line, he lost that entire 0.4 advantage because Hamilton was 0.4 quicker going down the straight. So, yeah, the car, I mean, yeah, it's a very tricky situation that the Red Bull have got to deal with here. The gap between Hamilton and Verstappen's lap, 36 milliseconds there, very, very close. Here we've finally got the replay between Albon and turn number 4, and no, he knew that he wasn't going to make the corner, so he just went onto the escape road. He probably watched the replay of his teammate make a very similar mistake and decided, right, I'm not going to risk it, I'm just going to go spin around in the escape road. Alright. Yeah, so Mercedes super quick down the straights, and Red Bull not so much. Maybe it depends on fuel loads, maybe it depends on engine settings. We are still yet to find out. But Hamilton, yeah, he was about to start a hot lap, but then locked up his front left and went off into the runoff. Pretty typical stuff here in Baku. The drivers do make quite a lot of mistakes into turn number 1, locking up quite easy, especially in free practice 1 when the circuit hasn't gripped up to its full potential. Okay. 4 minutes 30 left of this practice session, and we have got Hamilton up in first position, Verstappen in second, Norris in third, Sainz in fourth, and Perez in fifth. Alright, and also I'd just like to clarify Norris's lap time, which he's got in... Ooh, another yellow flag. Who's that for? Is that Russell going slowly? That is Russell going slowly, I think. Yeah, Russell's just done the same thing as Hamilton, and off into the escape road he went. Alright. Alright. Oh, so many yellow flags. What was I talking about? I was... Oh yeah, Norris's time for third position. That is, he did that on a set of soft tyres. He's just currently out on a set of medium tyres. So yeah, just a bit of a clarification there. Norris isn't, so much quicker than everyone else that he's done a quick lap time on mediums. And yeah, Russell Russell did lock up going into turn number 1 as I thought. All right. Is Leclerc out of quali? This is practice. Leclerc is definitely not out of quali. They've got an entire day till fix the car, and they're going to fix the car in a couple of minutes, really. Yeah. Sonoda over the radio saying my car is bouncing like hell. Yeah, this is once again an issue at the Baku Street Circuit. The circuit is not perfectly smooth. It is of course just a normal road that people use to drive on, and to go to work and go to the shops and whatever. And because of that, it's not perfectly smooth, and the drivers do experience a lot of bumping. The teams as well, they do set the cars up very, very low down to the ground because it massively benefits them. So yeah. They're gonna have to figure out those issues with the bouncing, because it's not sustainable in the long term. You will just rattle your car to bits, and you will damage the bottom of the floor and the skid plate, and you'll wear it out too much, and then get a disqualification from the FIA. All right, folks. What else have we got going on here? 2 minutes left of the free practice session. Let's wait and see. F1, give me your predictions for the race. I am going to go with... I'm going to say a McLaren driver is going to win the race. What's just happened to Perez? It's just said stop on Perez's... There's some sort of issue with Perez's GPS, because Perez is still driving around the circuit, but it says stop. Which I am not sure about. Hamilton, 4.5 tenths quicker than Verstappen down the straights. The majority of that is just in the final sector. The final main straight is where Hamilton gains 4 tenths on Verstappen. But Verstappen is 4 tenths quicker in the first and second sectors, so it's a very, very tough thing to balance. They're going to have to figure something out, figure out a compromise, because if Verstappen is starting out of position, so let's say Verstappen starts the race in 5th and he wants to end up in 2nd position, then he's going to need to overtake. So ideally, he wants to straight line speed, so it makes it a lot easier to make the overtakes happen. But let's say Verstappen is going to start the race in 2nd position and he's just got to manage his tyres to the end, then ideally he would want the higher downforce setup, which means the tyres will slide around a lot less and he's going to get a lot less tyre wear. So... But the problem is that Red Bull, they don't know if he's going to qualify in 2nd position or if he's going to qualify in 5th position. So, yeah, they've got a pretty big headache. But you know, I'm here just enjoying the fun, and let the action take place itself. Sainz purple in the first sector, yellow in the middle sector. He's 10th up on Hamilton as he exits the final corner. Let's wait and see what it will be when he comes across the line. It's a pretty accurate comparison, in fact. So Sainz a 10th quicker than Hamilton, and now if you just compare the entire length of the straight, Sainz now comes across the line, and where's he going to be? He is slower than Hamilton by 0.3 of a second. So yeah, Sainz again losing 0.4 of a second down the back straight compared to Lewis Hamilton. Quite major there. I don't know how Hamilton's pulled that off. I must have been a toe, but someone else in the chat said it wasn't a toe, so we'll see. We'll see. All right, folks, that is the end of FP1. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Very much is appreciated. FP2 will be starting in, very, very shortly, I think in 2 hours' time. The stream will be starting in 2 hours' time. I think 2.5 hours is when FP2 starts. Yeah, folks, what I'm going to ask you guys to do is I'm going to end the live stream. It'll take you over to the FP2 live stream. So if you guys could just hit the like button on that, it sort of just tells YouTube algorithm that this is a fantastic live stream and it recommends it to a load of people. So yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in, and I will see you in a couple of hours for FP2. Just go ahead, press the reminder button, the like button, and the subscribe button. That would be massively appreciated. But that's it from me, and I'll see you in a couple of hours. Cheers, fellas.